Characteristics of a restaurant, hotel, or companies, hospitality companies, excuse me. Series 7 of 7. So just a quick basic overview. We can look at different characteristics from hospitality industries. Like restaurants in general are going to have low receivables. We've seen that in my series of 5 of 7 when we talked about franchisors and owners. But overall, restaurants aren't going to have that high PP or high receivables compared to like a hotel. Let's say they're going to have higher receivables because they can have a banquet hall and be paid back for those services later. Also, they're going to have high PP&E, and hotels will also have higher accrued liabilities because they are booked in advance in order to sleep at a hotel. Cruise lines will have massive PP&E and inventory. Airlines will have high PP&E and large debt because, actually cruise lines will have extremely big amount of debt as well. But airlines won't have that much inventory. So this is just a simple little exercise. I just want to go through a few things with you just to point out some things. These are different companies in different industries, and then this is just a common-sized balance sheet and what these industries kind of look like. So I'm going to be able to tell you which ones go where right now. So so let me read off actually what our options are, and then I'll give you the reasons why each one goes where. So number 1 is Applebee's owns and leases the building and land for their restaurants. They also franchise out their concept. Darden operates all its restaurants and does not franchise. It also owns the land and their building for 92% of its restaurants. JetBlue Airways owns its planes. And First Citizens Bank is a commercial bank institution. And the 5th one is U.S. government. And finally, we have Safeway grocery store chain. So let's look at this really quick. So A, what could possibly be A? Well, I'm going to tell you it's actually Darden's restaurant because we have low cash on hand. Restaurants are going to have that much cash on hand. They're going to have low receivables. We just talked about that. They're not going to have too much inventory, but they're going to have some more than other industries and our options would be. So that sounds about right. They're definitely going to have 81% for their property, plant, and equipment because they own like 92% of their restaurants. So that is definitely going to be the highest out of all of the other industries so far. Okay, for B, that's actually going to be Safeway. They are like a restaurant, so we can pretty much see, like even though it's a grocery chain, we can compare it because they wouldn't have that much cash on hand. They're not going to have that many receivables. Inventory-wise, they're definitely going to have the highest just because they're a grocery chain store. So they will want to be selling us those deli sandwiches and those food products that can go bad very quickly. So they're going to have a lot more inventory to record because that's what they're in the business in, is selling their inventory basically. And so, yeah, so that's definitely going to be Safeway wise. C, let's see. Okay, well, JetBlue Airways. Let's look at reasons why. Well, they're not going to have any inventory. What are they going to sell? Like peanuts and Cracker Jacks. That's pretty much all that they're going to have. Property, plant, and equipment is going to be pretty high if we think about it. They're going to be pretty up there. Then we also have long-term debt, which is going to be about 58%, which makes sense for an airline company. We then have D, which is a bank. And the account receivables is going to be about 72%, which makes sense. They're going to have the largest cash on hand, and they are also going to have accounts payable being pretty high. The next one, E, we are going to have be the government. This is because they are going to have the most debt and the most long-term liabilities. It's going to be massive. Look at this, 283%, 322%, 510%, negative 510%, excuse me, and 610% right here. That can only be by a government, or else any other industry restaurant, it would just out. Okay, so F is actually going to be Applebee's. We can look at it, just compare it to this one right here, to Darden's restaurants. So the first one, cash and equivalents, 2%. That makes it about right, right? Because they're a franchisor. These ones aren't. So then the accounts receivable definitely going to be a little higher, not that much though, so it still makes sense. Property, plant, and equipment. No, they're going to have some, but not much to record, you know, because they do some of theirs, but not all of theirs, right? Yeah. Lease the buildings and land for their restaurants. They also franchise out their concept idea. So that's basically going to be Applebee's. And really quick, we want to run back to the bank. And I just want to say, see how the bank would also have 0% inventory, just because what are they going to have? Papers and pens. It's going to be very similar to the JetBlue Airways as well. All right, so that's just a quick little overview and characteristics between the industries.